Hi guys, Rachael Cook, Doctor of Audiology at Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in today's video, I'll be teaching you 6 speaking strategies to help someone with hearing loss understand what you're saying. Coming up. If someone you know has hearing loss, then you know that optimally programmed hearing aids can provide an incredible improvement in their hearing ability and in your ability to communicate with them. But even with the best hearing aids programmed perfectly, you may still run into situations where you feel like they're not hearing you as well as they should. However, communication is a two-way street that requires effort from both the speaker and the listener if that communication is going to be effective. With hearing loss, good communication strategies are critical, but aren't always known or practiced. In part 1 of this 2-part series, I reviewed the communication strategies that someone with hearing loss should always use in order to make communication easier and more effective. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and watch it after this one, as it can provide some perspective on what strategies they should be using in order to hear their best. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the communication strategies that you can use with your friends and family with hearing loss in order to ease frustration and increase connection. And if you happen to be someone with hearing loss, this is a video that you're going to want to share with your spouse, your kids, your friends, or even your coworkers so that they can help you hear your best. But before we dive in, if you could please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps videos like these reach a wider audience. And while you're at it, take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button with notification bell so that you never miss any one of our newly released videos. Now, before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to explain that hearing loss is different for each and every person. There are 3 different types of hearing loss with severity from mild to profound across many different pitches and can even present differently between ears. That being said, how well your communication partner can hear you is dependent on countless variables and can even seem to change day to day. That is why it is so important to not only know, but use these communication strategies with your conversational partner so that they can remain involved and engaged in what is being said. The first strategy that you can use as the speaker to improve communication is to get their attention first. The most common causes of hearing loss, such as aging and loud noise exposure, often result in high-frequency hearing loss. This type of hearing loss impacts high-pitch consonant sounds that are critical to providing clarity and distinction to speech. Oftentimes, people with this type of hearing loss will know that you're saying something, but just can't quite make out what is being said. To give them their best chance at hearing you, say their name and get their attention before speaking. If they are looking at or watching something else, they may not even realize that you're talking to them until you're halfway through the message. With the first half of the information missing, it's difficult to have enough information to respond and often results in the need for repetition. Confirm that they are ready for a message by saying their name and ensure that they are listening before you dive into your statement or question. This tip alone can save you incredible amounts of time and frustration. And while I feel like it's one of the easiest strategies to use, it's often forgotten. The second speaking strategy is to slow down and enunciate your words. When talking to anyone, but especially those with hearing loss, if you're speaking too quickly or if you're mumbling, no one's going to be able to understand what you're saying. Be careful that you do not over-exaggerate by yelling, making dramatic mouth movements, or by speaking at an unnaturally slow rate. Not only can this make it harder for them to understand you, but oftentimes people will actually perceive this as you mocking them. Most individuals with hearing loss just need a little extra enunciation, a slight boost in volume, and a little slower pace of speech. Even with these considerations, you'll want to make sure that they're able to use any visual cues from your lips as you speak to fill in any missing information, which is our third speaker strategy. Be sure to keep your face visible at all times, keeping your head up, your hands away from your mouth, and try to avoid chewing while talking when you can. This also means ensuring that the lighting in the room that you're in is good, whether you're at home or at a restaurant. When it is too dark, they will be unable to see your mouth well enough to use those visual cues. The fourth speaker strategy is making sure that you're in the same room as the person you're talking to. As you can imagine, it's hard to see your mouth and use those visual cues when you're not in the same room as the person that you're speaking to. Remember, every time you double the distance between yourself and the person you're trying to speak with, your voice drops by 6 decibels, which is a huge decline in volume. In the event that repetition is being requested several times, it's possible that what you're saying has some elements of speech that their hearing loss does not allow them to hear well. That is why the 5th speaker strategy is to change what you say if someone doesn't understand what you said the first time you said it. Repeating the same statement over and over may leave them missing the same piece of information again and again. In this case, you will want to rephrase your statement instead of repeating it. For example, if you say, "I'm thinking I'll be ready for dinner in about an hour," several times, and they still seem to be missing the message, you could and should rephrase to something else, like, "Does dinner at 7 sound all right?" Switching up the message adds some extra context to help fill in any missing blanks. If you're still unsure if they heard the message correctly or not, you can use the 6th speaker strategy, which is to confirm that they understood what you've said. To do this, just politely ask them to repeat back what they've heard. This is especially important with dates, addresses, and phone numbers, as many letters and numbers sound frustratingly similar. All of these strategies become especially important in situations with loud levels of background noise and competing conversations, like restaurants and parties. Background noise makes conversation difficult even for those with normal hearing, but can make it incredibly challenging for those with hearing loss. In these situations, you may even find that your communication partner with hearing loss answers questions incorrectly, nods in agreement, or maybe even sits back and gives up on the conversation altogether. Depending on how much control you have over the environment, you may offer to move to a quieter space with them, turn down any background music, or move closer to them. If hearing and background noise continues to be challenging, there are assistive listening devices that you, the speaker, can wear to dramatically improve their hearing in these situations, so long as you are willing to wear one. To learn more about these types of assistive listening devices, make sure that you check out this video that will be linked in the description below. Many of my patients will report feeling like a burden to their friends, their family, or their colleagues when they're having a difficult time hearing and need a little bit of extra support. In these situations, it can be incredibly comforting to have someone who's willing to make the extra effort to help them hear better. On the contrary, it can be incredibly defeating and isolating to ask for repetition only to be met with "never mind," or "don't worry about it," or "I'll tell you later," especially during important events and family gatherings. That being said, the best communication strategy to improve hearing and understanding by both the listener and the speaker is patience. While hearing loss can often be misinterpreted as the other person just not paying attention, that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, nearly all individuals with hearing loss make a considerable amount of effort and then some to be able to hear and respond appropriately, and their efforts should not be ignored. That's it for this video. I hope you found some of these communication strategies helpful. Remember to go back to my video from last week about the listener communication strategies that you can use to improve your hearing and understanding as well. If you found any sort of useful information in this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone that you feel could use it. And if you haven't yet already, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button with notification bell so that you never miss any one of our newly released videos.